This is Bazaar Morning Call, broadcasting live from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studios in Mumbai.
Good morning. Welcome to Bazaar Morning Call. You're watching us live from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studio. I'm Sonia and with me are Rima and Nigel. Well, this morning I would have started by saying over 130 crore hearts were broken last night. But instead, I choose to say over 130 crore Indians hold their head high this morning in respect of their team who played brilliantly through the tournament, but unfortunately had one bad day. So today, let's choose to celebrate the team that gave us such amazing cricket. Also, Sunil Gavaskar put it so well last evening, saying that there's no shame in losing to champions, and the Australians were champions through and through. So kudos to them for playing like winners from the very beginning. And to our team, all I can say is that we are proud of you. Morning, guys.
Hi, morning. It almost felt like, India didn't lose. Australia won.
Yeah.
They just outplayed us yesterday.
Well, indeed, it's...
but it's heartbreaking.
It's a sad morning for everyone.
It's a bitter pill to swallow, but we were the better side for the entire tournament. They were the better side on the day that counted. But those guys went out there and they represented 130 crore people. Yeah. And kudos to them. Yeah. We tried hard. Maybe we didn't come out trumps on the big day, but we were beaten by a better side. And I'm with them, whether it's victory, whether it's defeat, they're out there representing you and me. So,
absolutely,
Chakri India, where we are with them.
And the only person I really feel bad for is Rohit Sharma, because he had some amazing cricket throughout the tournament. Even in yesterday's match, he was amazing. So when he shed that tear, you felt for him, right? For a captain who had exemplary leadership and was just this short of, holding the cup in his hand. So I guess, well, life and sport is like that.
He played selfless cricket. From the word go, he was going for the bowling. And I think, Head played really well, to score that 137 odd. But I think Head scored 200 runs. And I'll tell you why. Because he took an unbelievable catch of Rohit Sharma.
Yes.
If Rohit Sharma didn't get out, he was bracing for a big 100 out there. So, heartbreak, but we need to move on.
Oh, absolutely. As they say, you win some, you lose some, right? And may the best man win. And the best man did win yesterday. Well, it's going to be a somber morning. But for our markets, let's take it from there, because it was a pretty good last couple of weeks. And looks like we could perhaps build on to those gains this morning as well. Let's start with what happened in the global markets. By the way, it is a buy on dips market, and it's something that can continue through the course of this week as well. The US markets also consolidated with a positive bias. In fact, they ended higher for the third consecutive week. And the Nifty as well is now up almost 900 points from the October 26th lows that we had. We've seen 3 weeks of gains under our belt. So maybe we could consolidate with a bit of a positive bias this week. We're not even 2.5% away from those all-time highs. So the going is good. And if you're, using the buy on dip strategy, watch out for the IT stocks on the upside. It's kind of like a Goldilocks scenario for the IT names because of, bond yields cooling off on one side and no major recession that's expected in the US. So that's one space that has seen a lot of buying. Well, there are 5 new IPOs that are coming out this week. So the primary market action is going to be pretty intense. The 2 big ones that everyone's watching out for is IRDA. It's the government, first from the government since LIC hit the markets last year. And it's a big one. Of course, Tata Technologies is the other one that people are watching out for. And then there's Gandhar Oil Refinery, Fedbank Financial Services, Flair Writing, etc. So lots happening. There's global data as well, so keep an eye out on that. The FOMC minutes, the initial jobless claims come out on the 22nd of November. But all in all, you'd have to say that it's a buy on dips market and perhaps a trend that can continue.
It's actually been a pretty good trend, right? In November so far, the Nifty's rallied 3.5%. The mid-cap index has rallied 7.5%. And the small-cap index has had a rally of close to 10%. This is the November series. So putting in all those 3 weeks of gains, we've got pretty handsome gains under our belt. Well, it's a Monday today, so you've got the Nifty Midcap Select weekly expiry and the BankX weekly expiry. In terms of global cues for today and for the week, it's lighter on the economic calendar. Nvidia results will come out on Tuesday. You've got Fed minutes on Wednesday. And US markets, remember, are shut on Thursday for Thanksgiving. So they have a holiday shortened week.
Well, we've got 3 big near-term triggers. One is on terms of the Fed rate hike and what is the trajectory going ahead. The second one is earnings. That's FY24 earnings, which appears that, it's pretty much in line with what we're working with. The question is whether FY25 we're going to get the double-digit or the mid-teens growth that we're talking about. And also the broader market earnings growth has been impressive for the past quarter. The only problem is reading a couple of brokerage notes, they're saying that the top line growth wasn't there. It was just margin expansion. And how much of that is sustainable? So that's, for FY25 and the state election results as well. So 2 out of those 3 seems to be in the bag for the bulls. What's that? The Fed. The street is now factoring that maybe we don't see another big rate hike from here on. And earnings as well, FY24 earnings, we're well and truly on to get that, 14 to around 16% earnings growth for this year itself. So no worries on that. State elections, in the next 2 weeks, we'll have the outcome out there. And if, the ruling government comes out, trumps out there, then maybe we see a gush of FI flows coming in there, factoring in continuity for 2024 onward central elections. What about market setup? Well, in Friday's trading session, you had some shorts on the Nifty that were covered out, while on the Nifty bank, shorting has come back out there, and that perfectly ties in with the FI data because they covered 5,000 long contracts and they added 5,000 short contracts. So the swing factor out there is closer to around 10,000 contracts. Let's get the FI action up for you on the screen. They remain net short, but the swing factor on the short side is around 10,000 contracts. The PCR is holding around that 1 odd mark, and one strike that was very, very active in Friday's trading session is the 19,800 call. It added close to around 35 lakh shares approximately. The premium out there was around 80 to around 90 rupees, which brings us to the crucial resistance zone. Last week, we went to around 19,875. That was the high of last week. And from there, we saw a bit of a U-turn. So 19,800 call is getting written. For the time being, the bears believe 19,880 to around 19,900 will not get crossed. On the downside, though, 19,600, that becomes a crucial support zone. The 50 DMA as well is in that vicinity of around 19,588. But that's about the Nifty. I think the crucial index to look at is the Nifty Bank. We have some negative news flow that played out on Friday. And now it's at a very, very crucial juncture. The 20 and the 200 DMA, both of them are in that vicinity of around 43,200 to around that 43,450 odd. So very crucial support zone on the Nifty. The trend continues to remain higher. The Nifty, well, the 19,600 mark is the support for the day. And let's see whether or not we can start moving higher and maybe retest last week highs. For starters, though, as flat as can be, guys.
Also, I just want to make one mention, since we're talking about cricket and that hangover, is still there through the day, it's going to be there. You have to give it up to the Australian cricket team, right? Yeah. Silencing, how many people were there in the stadium? About 1.5 lakh, 1.2 lakh people, right? Yeah. And Pat Cummins, before the match, he said that we are here to silence 1.2 lakh people. And he did that. So that winning, I think, that champion in them was there just before they went onto the pitch. I guess they went and they said that, we're going to be champions and champions.
And we're going to silence that noise, right? Even when they're playing, I'm sure it's difficult with no one cheering for them.
Yeah, kudos to them. But I'll tell you what, our boys will return the favor in the next couple of World Cups. And
I'm sure.
I've seen 2003, it hurts till date, 2023 as well. But we'll return the favor in the coming World Cups and we'll come out trumps. I recall, Vinod Kambli walking out of the stadium in 1996 when we lost against Sri Lanka. And we came out trumps in 2011. So maybe it's a matter of when we do it, but we are going to do it. And we'll return the favor to the Australians. But they were the better side on the day. I don't want to be a sore loser, but we're going to win.
Well, it's a 45-day carnival. And, the Indian cricket team has given us so much to enjoy over the last 1.5 months. So we're going to leave it at that and get kick-started on markets for this week and for the day. So let me start off by telling you what's lined up in the first half an hour of the show. We'll get you updates from markets across the globe. Fook Heen Yap of Standard Chartered Bank will join in to discuss the global trade setup. Later on, our research team will bring you CNBC TV18's list of top 10 stocks for the day. Around 8:30 a.m., we'll do a fundamental stock analysis with our stock market expert, Prakash Tiwari.
All right, lots happening on the show. First up, let's begin with some of the best voices in the business. Ridham Desai of Morgan Stanley says a miss in revenue growth offset by a higher than anticipated expansion in margins saw the earnings growth beat analyst expectations in 9 out of the 10 sectors. Broad market earnings were up sequentially but underperformed. Ridham believes that the earnings upcycle trend in India remains quite intact.
We have another opinion coming in from Surendra Goyal of Citi. He says key sectors with earnings beat and upward revisions to estimates included industrial, healthcare, energy and auto, while sectors with earnings miss and an earnings downgrade included telecom, materials and IT. They continue to prefer large caps over mid caps as large cap valuations remain relatively more reasonable with a decent earnings outlook. Citi's most preferred sectors remain banks, PSU utilities, defense and autos. Their June 2024 Nifty target of 21,000 has a 7% upside from current levels.
All right, that's Surendra Goyal of Citi, 21,000 target on the Nifty by June 2024. Well, let's look at some money market views as well. On the rupee, B. Prasanna of ICICI Bank says that the dollar corrected sharply after softer inflation and labor data triggered an early rate cut. Pricing in the US, Asian and emerging market currencies recovered as risk sentiments improved with a fall in US yields and a broad-based dollar correction. Widening trade deficit beyond expected festive seasonality is a worry for the rupee. On the other hand, a softer dollar outlook with stabilizing FPI flows and lower oil prices will provide support. He expects the rupee to underperform peers and trade in a range of 83.05 to 83.55 this week, with the RBI smoothing the volatility.
On the bonds, Prasanna says global yields resume their downward journey on the back of easing inflation prints and weakness in labor-related economic data. Crude has continued its softening buys ahead of the crucial OPEC meeting scheduled later this month. Local bonds also rallied as domestic inflation came in on expected lines with further moderation in core inflation. He expects bonds in India to trade with a positive bias, with the 10-year benchmark yield in the range of 7.15 to 7.25%.
Well, we've got a lot of stock-specific action to track for you. We get to that in just a bit in our special Top 10 segment. For the time being, I'll run you through the list. We're looking at Auto Pharma, Oberoi Realty, SBI Cards, Neogen Software, Keynes, Zen Technologies, and Rights. All of them on positive news flow. While on the flip side, you have Cipla, ESAF, Small Finance Bank, and Hikil. That'll be reacting to negative news flow.